Europeans who visited the US, what made you go, WTF? Portion sizes, vehicle sizes, road sizes, house sizes. My coworker from Germany saw a pic of my house and asked how many families live there. There are always new McMansions being built near me, and every time I drive past one, I have to ask out loud if a family of 12 is moving in. Some are outrageously huge. The funny thing is that they all seem to have teeny tiny yards, gardens. There's a big uproar in my town when an older house gets bought and the builder knocks it down, only to put 2 or more large monstrosity houses on the property that used to hold one house. How dirty and disgusting Hollywood is. Funnily enough, I've overheard heaps of US tourists feeling the same way. Public transport in LA is pretty cheap and usable, not very well planned out or connected, but Uber, Lyft makes no sense a lot of the time due to the WTF traffic. Almost no under 40 white people unless they look poorer than average white person. Come to think of it, hardly ever saw white people working in regular service, retail jobs, like fast food or ticketing officers. NY skyline is quite something, and the amount of skyscrapers is mind-boggling. Overall, the NY and LA metro areas are so huge. It's difficult to compare. Haven't spent enough time in London nor been to Moscow or experience anything similar in Europe. The political ads where they just smear the out of the opposition. That other bloke, he touches kids and pisses on toilet seats. This ad is brought to you by the other politician. Blew my mind when I saw those. Portion sizes and adverts for drugs would be the big two. All the other differences would be either stuff you don't experience on holiday or within the kind of differences you'd expect from another country. But the meals were just unbelievably massive, and having people hawk serious medication to you through the TV was very jarring. Oh, and the number and duration of ad breaks as well. One night me and my dad were in some small town on our way to somewhere else. Decided to watch Silence of the Lambs on TV. The ad breaks towards the end were insane. Completely ruined the film. They managed to put one in the middle of the finale. Remember the bit where Clarice finds the well, and then the lights go out? That's where they put an ad break. Me sideways. On the first day of our US road trip, we stopped for lunch at a roadside restaurant south of San Francisco. When we tried to pay, the waiter told us that another customer that just had left paid for our meals and wished us a nice trip. WTF. Who does that? So nice. Totally made my day and honestly the whole vacation. I did this once. We were on vacation and were eating at a restaurant. There was a family in the booth behind us. We were almost done with our meal when the mom, very quietly, started telling her kids to use their inside voices. That was the first time I noticed they were triplet boys about 3 years old. They were so quiet through our meal I didn't even realize they were there. Dad got up and took them all to the restroom and I made eye contact with Mom. She looked exhausted, but her boys were so good. When we left we paid for their meal. I hope it made their vacation like it did when someone did that for you. The political ads on TV that do not promote but instead demonize candidates. So-and-so is a devil from hell that will eat your newborn for breakfast if you vote for them. Don't do it if you love America. Scary music and black and white footage included. Weird. Very weird. That's unfortunately been the case for quite some time. All fear-mongering. Literally nothing positive said about their candidate. Just all negative shit about the opposition. Once saw an ad for a wallet that was also a knife. Went to Burger King and got a medium fizzy drink and they gave me this plastic tank that held about 1.5 liters. Plus, about half of it was ice. What the The one thing I wasn't expecting from the US is how polite 99% of the people I met were. Lots of thanks, good wishes and very friendly people. During my first visit, I was astonished at the number of small airports and incredible number of small aircraft. So much freedom to fly across a vast country. Amazing. Prices without taxes. Pro-life, pro-choices ad in the subway. Lawyer ad everywhere. Tornadoes. Free refills, my friend. Free refills. I don't want to live in a world without free refills. But for real, fountain drink syrup is bought from suppliers at dirt cheap prices, so even if you spend $2 for the drink and refill it like 3 times, the store is still coming out on top. Edit. To all of you telling me the number is much higher, you're completely correct. I was just illustrating what a normal person might do lol. To get near to hurting the restaurant's margin you'd probably have to refill it an absurd amount of times. Depending on the restaurant it could be 20 plus, or 40 plus or whatever. You can actually go to the ATM without leaving your car. Line for the drive-by is longer than in the coffee shop itself. Drive-through. In the US a drive-by is when you shoot at some people while driving by them in your car. Also, I hate drive-throughs here. It's almost always faster just to park and go inside. I've been in places where the line at the drive-through is out to the street, but there's not one person in line inside. Or what to do if you see a panther sign. Was staying with the nicest family ever. They worked extremely long hours and lived in the suburbs. I wanted to cook for them as a surprise and set out to the store on foot, with an empty backpack for the groceries. Had to walk along the curb and then cross an 8-lane highway to get to the store. Had to stop a really old man from bagging the groceries. Then was stopped by police on the way back. They were very friendly, just wanted to know where my car had broken down. Ended up explaining to me that there was basically zero infrastructure for walking out in the burbs. They took me home. On the way, I saw a sign gas 99 cents a gallon, Bud's Xmas gift to the community. Blew my dad's mind when I told him later. Got home, thanked the nice officers, made a vegetable casserole. When my wonderful host family came home, they were blown away but also extremely worried. All in all, I would say that no matter how crazy America may be or seem, Americans make up for all of it. They are some of the friendliest, most welcoming people I have ever met. The portion sizes. A meal in a restaurant at home will usually leave me fairly full, but I had to be rolled out of the place after eating in a US restaurant. I saw an advert on TV for some prescription meds, then the presenter started listing off all the side effects, including death. Years ago, it used to be striking how much violence was allowed on TV, while anything even remotely resembling was censored. I think the internet, cable TV and syndication of TV shows has blended the cultures in this regard. Answering for someone else. I'm American answering for a German. Ice machines in hotels. They couldn't understand why the hotels had so many ice machines and why there are signs for them. I couldn't stop laughing about it and honestly have no idea why we love ice so much. He also asked what people had in the big plastic cups. I said pop soda. He laughed and said they look like they're 1.5 liters. There is no way they are drinking soda. Silly friend. Yes, they are. Jaywalking and the lack of pavement, sidewalk on many roads. I found it so hard to just get from one place to another. Tax not included in the price tag. It's weird. Actually seeing New York and its skyscrapers. All cities in Europe look like hamlets compared to NY. My mind was also blown when I saw Morgan Freeman chilling in Jackson, Mus. Honestly, Walmart. Went there to buy a SIM card and some groceries. Also found out that I could also buy pet fish, car parts and shoes, all in one building. Also, while in the queue to the checkout, we were next up and they just decided to close the lane. We had to re-queue somewhere else. I hate going to Walmart. I never go there by choice, but no matter how prepared I think I am, once a year I need a rain fly, an automotive bulb, 35mm film, marshmallows, corn on the cob, sunblock, spray paint and rope, like all in the same trip. And I'll of course be in the rural USA if I were to buy everything separately. Each store would be 14 miles apart. I was going to count the number of American flags I saw on my 2 weeks in Florida. I gave up on the ride from Miami Airport to South Beach. I was in New York for a little less than a week. It was my first, and so far only time in the USA. Since there's a stereotype about Americans religiously loving their flag, I thought it would be fun to count every American flag I saw. I gave up at 400. The size of everything. Still shocks me that driving from NYC to Cleveland, takes twice as much time as a trip across my country. Airport security is also overwhelming and extremely boring. I had a Swiss colleague who came to US for a 4-day visit. He thought he was going to drive from NYC to LA in a day. Bless his heart. I thought the gap in bathroom stall doors were a myth. Didn't get privacy for my 5-day stay. How do you when someone can look you in the eye? I was blown away by the peaceful poops I had in Germany. Big wooden doors that close all the way. I had my own little private toilet booth. It was fantastic. Sharps bins in Disney toilets. I had a real WTF moment but was also kind of humbled by what I thought was an unexpected and generous display of acceptance and concern for addiction. I think I vaguely assumed Disney had somehow figured it out to be okay around children, but I just couldn't work out how or why. Anyway, it took about an hour for me to realize it was for diabetics. I have an uncle that moved away from the US about 30 years ago. Whenever he comes back to visit, he always is horrified by the commercials on TV for prescription drugs. It never occurred to me as an American how ridiculous a concept it is that the patient should tell his doctor what medicine should be prescribed based off of an advert by that medicine. I gotta say, hearing the extreme stereotypical accents that you only hear on comedy shows, e.g. Jewish mother, unintelligible southerner, etc. American here. I just got back from a trip to Ireland. It's amazing. We're both speaking English, but it's two entirely different languages. Movies set in New York prepare you for everything except the smell of shit. Hey, don't forget piss. That is a ubiquitous smell in NY too. Everyone wanted me to have a great day. We do want you to have a great day, but when we ask how it was, we don't really want to hear about it.